loading up some more Eric. Oh my god. If anybody from Carbon is watching, guys, could you make it so the game doesn't crash when you're expecting a game and it ends? Because I lost about a third of my last clip due to that. It was pretty solid gold, too. You owe me that gold. Just a few seconds before kickoff. Getting that Rebel Yell on. I'm coining that. When you make a big fucking spam fest of Rebels, it's called the Rebel Yell, you guys. Rebel Yell. K. David came up with that. Rebel Yell. These are, of course, based on the tanks that Syrians made that you can control with a PlayStation controller. Just a perfect fit for a video game like Air Mech. They do seem to chew up those Buckies pretty good. Are those I think this is one of the games where they allow you to have ultimates. I could be off on that. Am I? Fortunately, there's nothing exciting happening, so I can go for these freaking... It doesn't... Okay, maybe I was wrong. One of the games I was looking at, you could do the ultimates. Because they just put in that patch where you can do ultimates in PvP. Very controversial move. Igordum. Oh, he just blew that guy up. Oh my god. Green's gonna grab that up. Nice. Nice moves from them. They're gonna have to do something about this. But at the moment, advantage Green. Crapper, no. You see, it's pretty easy to tell who's going to win a game by how many Natashas they have. That's the key. That's how you do all your betting on Air Mech. You bet on bet against the Natashas. They're like white people in boxing. Okay, take half of its health down and then make the steal. You go, boy. Ignored him. Don't let this one crash. That's all that I ask. Ooh. Chewing into that at the side of that base. Not really doing a whole lot of damage, but, you know, it's a psychological thing, really. When you see Syrian Jeep Broncos with corrugated tin laid over them and being controlled by PS3 controllers firing into your base, it has a psychological effect. Oh, this kid took off. So this is going to be a short clip. Just a little over a minute to go in first quarter. I know, I really have to relegate these to Pro Fests, I think. Some of these guys are good. I've seen some of these guys bring the heat in some games. And sometimes, I mean, people will use Natasha just to be... as a troll thing, or to show how ballin' they are. Like, that's right, I can beat you with Natasha. I know, there's so many pros that I've seen do that shit with the no pilot. And, like, a noob loadout. It's like, that's right. I'm gonna kick your ass in the fight. Actually, I got my ass kicked by some dudes who did that. It was stacked as hell. Let me tell you, it was the winter of 2012. It was me and a couple of shitty players against 3 hardcore pros. 2 of them took no pilot. 1 of them might have even taken Ken. We lost that game, and it was never the same afterwards. I had to have a solid rage pound afterwards. I was so furious. Not as furious as Ed Dugular, but pretty close. Black Cat. Here's the issue. When you run in tank lines and the other team has got a saucer, yeah, you do have to have that. Okay, so I was wrong. There really isn't that much of an issue. But you do have to have a Seeker rolling with them to prevent this kind of bullshit. Black Cat, he's going to get that one at least. Or... yeah, he got it. I'm proud of him. He is a real pro after all. He's just trolling with that Natasha loadout. Green, making it this is what's harsh, too. I'm going to mention this every time that I do a game where there's one of these straightforward maps. Is that if you don't have any forward possessions, you're pretty much bald. Ugh. Ugh. Steamy front door damage. Oh, now there's nothing in between. Okay, there's one Seeker popping on Gordon. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's so bad for blue. It looks like that's going to be game. I'm glad Dugular is not here to see this. Okay, I got to stop recording so it won't crash. Pre-gaming it. Blue busting them out. Busting out those artilleries. Archies, as it were. T-99s. Oh my. Red, with a more conventional approach. With tanks and a Seeker. It's on. And that's almost exactly what I do every time I play this, except I jam it right in front of the Gaddy. And then I go to work on that T-99 with my mech guns. I know you guys watch these thinking, what do Arcade Aiden would do in a situation like the one that's unfolding in front of me? The answer is largely what you're seeing. Oh, Smedis gets caked on by a bunch of fucking T-99s. Pays the price for trying to grab this factory early. Almog finished, or thought he had them all finished off. Had to hit the ground to get that last one. Shoves. Moving them in. Blue ain't got nothing going on over here. They kind of needs that. Meanwhile, red clearing out their neutrals for them. Sanker going after that Gaddy. Smedis. Go. That's a classy move. I like doing that with the neutral, the creeps rather. Parking them right in the doorway. Gives you that little bit of protection. Also gives you kind of a little bit of extra life when that base does take damage. They just walk right in and negate it. Shobi using that tickle cannon to try and one-man that thing into submission. Not able to do it. First blood. Sanker gets focus fired on. Focus fired on. I'm going through puberty again. The man who went through puberty twice. God, I had a hard enough time going through it the first time, 25 years ago. Smedis. Yes. Rocking that economy. Got a pretty funky Chinese mask flowing to commemorate the Chinese New Year. Radioactive mech skin. We'll just assume that he continues with that. Shobi keeps trying to backline this blue holding. Moderate success at it. It's only got that one light, which amazingly survives a whole barrage of fucking artillery. Golly, it just won't die. Meanwhile, Smedis gets bored of ripping up blue socket units. Backlines him with some boomers. Oh, devastating. Shows. He is putting a lot of faith in the guns of that Osprey. More so than you generally see. What's he rolling with for a pilot? Okay, the usual. The huge. Kura. That is some fantastic micro. That's just how it's done, folks. Blue. Want to talk to you guys a little bit about your game. Need to step it up. Interesting, 2 T99s and a Rebel in between for front door D. Oh wait, Smedis. What's he gonna do? Oh, okay, I see. That's a pretty solid move. Actually, I don't know that it really paid off that much for him. Usually when you drop 4 boomers on an encampment like that, you do at least get some smoke coming off of one of them if you don't get any kills. So it's weird to see how that went down. Odd. Anyway, blue does have this ridge a little bit, I'm not going to say locked down, but red's got some work ahead of them to get past it. Here we go. Archies. Oh, Archie! Why? That's what I'm talking about. Right up there on the ridge. And blue, with this Archie, generally what I would do with an Archie, if it were me, would be to rotate it roughly 180, maybe more like 140 degrees. Just kind of have it pointed at, you know, enemy troops rather than your own base. Just a thought. Shobi hits the ground and focuses his fire on that one unit. It does drop, and red now with a 2-to-1. Yeah, 2-to-1 unit lead. This is the second time that I've seen people do this, dropping infantries up on these Quonset huts or whatever the hell these are supposed to be. Look at that. Almog's not having it anymore. Red sending in that grinder. And it does go to... Yeah, you know, if I can be permitted to weigh in here, I think that the grinder... might not have needed that armor nerf that they gave it. I don't know. I feel like it kind of... if one unit should have ultra heavy armor, it should be that one. Since it's uber slow, it has no ranged weapons, and it doesn't really do anything other than take a whole ton of damage and dish it out. But what do I know? This is a pretty proper setup right here. Tanks, Archies. And blue pretty much down to what you see in front of you. Trying to think of strategies that they might employ to bring this one out of the fire, and coming up blank on that. It sucks too, being that it's such a straightforward map and there's nowhere... You can't hide. There's nowhere to go. You can't... What are you gonna... You gonna go up here? Run a whole thing all the way across? Then when you get here... Now, granted, if they were able to get over here, they would find a pretty easy situation for any offensive troops that they might drop, but still... Smedis. Moving him in. Maybe it was Shobi moving him in. Regardless, troops have been moved in. Yeah, it sucks when you try to drop something back here because a lot of times it won't let you do it. Or, like, you have to get it just right. Longhorn. Banging that G-spot up. That front door G-spot. I am claiming that, by the way. Nobody else can call it the G-spot except me. Boom! Almogs tries to get out of the way, but he gets chewed up. That is going to close this one down for the red team. King Shobi and Cube Smedis And that is a serious deficit in levels, too. That's game. And it looks like we got a pretty good contingent of players happening. Oh, all vanilla skins. They're all being so modest. Or maybe they're just cheap bastards who couldn't buy the starter pack. Regardless, the map is the pro's choice. Thar. That looks mildly pornographic, what he's doing to the back of that tank. I guess he really wants to make sure that that fucking Seeker is primed to get killed right at the start. We're off. Kind of surfing on those tanks. Decides to start moving on his own steam. Red rolling motherfuckers this way. It seems to me that a lot of times when people send masses of tanks from the start, at least from the red base, in this, they do split up like that, where like half go to this and half go to the middle. Unless these have specifically been sent to the blue base, which I don't think they have. I could be off about that. And it looks like I am. It looks like they were off on that being a good idea because Turkleton gets behind it, rips them up with that double damage. All the way nasty. Up on the northeast, Raging Nolraz making an early play for this factory. Factory. Me making a late play on learning how to say factory. But on this, the corner expansions are not as heavily guarded with neutrals as they are on Sandrum. Turkleton spraying up the air a little bit for some sort of strategic advantage, I'm sure. Tries to grab this eastern outpost. A big, nasty warthog chewing on your fucking possessions is never what you want to see. Turkleton does decide to take off. Nolraz. I was in a game with this dude earlier, and I feel bad because I was like the shittiest player there. It was a game where it was just straight pros, guys. Straight pros. And I said, hey, I can hang with the big dogs. And Raging Nolraz was one of them. Showed up and got on his team, and it did not go well. You could feel the collective ugh. Oh, Raging Nolraz living up to his name. Just 3 minutes into quarter one. Peter Evans, good game. It looks like it is going to be good game very shortly. However, he is going to try and get that steal. For what it's worth, he grabbed it up. I know, right? I thought this was going to be a great clip, and now I'm saying shit. This was a noble attempt to grab the fucking northeast. Could have wound up paying off. Instead, Turkleton. Look at the moves on this kid. Just look at the moves. Ducking, weaving, bobbing and weaving, popping back to that base. So, Blue, they can move him in at pretty much any time. These Seekers ain't gonna do shit to stop the flow. Turkleton decides to get a little recon in first. I guess he can't have that portal sentry fucking with his tanks. That would just be too much. Is he really screwing with the guy's economy right now? That's just salting the wound up. That's just lemon juicing the wound up. Look at this poor fucking kid. His buddy raged. Turkleton. I guess he's just got to go for the completest victory. He just can't let this guy have anything. It's painful to watch. Oh. Give Pete Evans credit where it's due. He's not going down without a fight. Heading straight for that base, yet again. probably not going to have as easy of a time. You know, I've been in that exact spot too and gotten boned in about the same way as Peter just did, and I swore in all caps after it happened too. So we've all been there, or I have, and so has he. One place that we've all been, I'm sure, is at the receiving end of one of these. A funky tank line rolling right into that front door, banging that G-spot, knowing exactly where it is, and knowing just how to satisfy that funky, funky slot. So, just a few seconds this side of quarter two. Teuchel and Gustavo bring it down. Oh, okay, we're going to see if we can get the whole scoreboard up before it crashes. And we're good.